I got some beers here too. I'm gonna eviscerate some beers tonight. Tell you that.
True. I'm still doing dry January, so I'm not gonna eviscerate any beers tonight.
I respect it, but man, fucking like the nerves are just way too much right now.
Yeah, no, we're breaking the dry January in Mexico, so like we'll be good for that. But yeah, we're live. Talking some alcohol talk off the top. You guys know the drill. It's Bucs Cowboys. Yeah. We had to do a live stream for this. It's too fun. Both of our teams are playing each other. I mean,
we're getting some
both of us are nervous. I don't think either of us are very confident right now because my team just hasn't been good, and your team is the Dallas Cowboys and tend to not, show up in the biggest spots. So we both have reasons to be like, cautiously optimistic about this game. I think if we play at our best, we have Ryan Jensen back, who obviously is like a, tone setter of our offense, like very physical. Like him and Brady obviously been playing together for a couple of years now, so they have good chemistry. The only question is like, is that going to disrupt the rest of the offensive line's chemistry? Because he hasn't played next to Shaq Mason last year. And the year before, Jensen had played next to Ali Marpet and Alex Kappa, who are both not on the team anymore. So that's a question mark as far as like the run game is concerned. Maybe they can't, get anything going up the middle with the new offensive line combo.
Yeah. Side note, I mean, like adding to that, right? Like on the flip side here, Dallas is probably getting their best run stuffing nose tackle back. Jonathan Hankins is expected to play in this game. They ended up trading for him at the deadline. He's been probably their most consistent one tech. So if you guys are getting Jensen back, like it's good that at least we got Hankins back to sort of hang in there. Also big news is Neville Gallimore is a healthy scratch in this game. They're planning on using Chauncey Golston to play a ton of 3-tech today. In the game last week against Washington, he played 22 snaps, had 11 tackles, like playing the 3-tech spot. And this is a guy we drafted to play edge. So if he can, mix in with Osa, give you some 3-tech looks, and you got Jonathan Hankins and Carlos Watkins holding down that 1-tech. I don't know. Hopefully the defense can, build off of the. Again, like they didn't play crazy last week, but I mean, let's be real. The reason why the Cowboys lost is their offense was just a mess.
Yeah, and they ran into the Lord himself, Sam Howell.
For real. It's pretty like crazy because I watched back the game last week to a certain degree, and I don't know, like everything just kind of seemed like lackadaisical, like not on the same page. Washington was playing well up front, but realistically, like it just kind of looked like that game that you want to forget. And I feel like every team has one of those a year. I mean, the fucking Chiefs lost to the Colts for crying out loud, so it's just weird that it happens in week 15.
I still can't believe they lost to the Colts. That was funny as hell,
bro.
So. Somebody mentioned their gauntlet teams, and I don't know about you, but my gauntlet teams are not in great shape because
I have
a lot of
the
guys that I drafted. Well, yeah, I mean, there's still a game tonight, obviously, but
yeah.
I would say the guys that I drafted as one-offs have not been good. Obviously, when we drafted, we were playing under the assumption that the Lions would make the playoffs, so I did get a lot of them on-raw one-offs. One of my favorite combinations, because I drafted so much Jalen Hurts, was to draft Justin Herbert or Lamar Jackson. Justin Herbert didn't have a great game. Lamar Jackson didn't even play. And Tua Tagovailoa was the other guy that I was going after. So my quarterback situation is going to sink a lot of my Jalen Hurts teams, unfortunately, because I didn't get a lot of, Trevor Lawrence or Brock Purdy along with Jalen Hurts. So that's definitely not an ideal play. I think most of the teams that are going to advance for me are going to end up being Bills, Bengals, and Cowboys, and potentially some Bucs. I have a couple Jalen Hurts Brady teams, which hopefully Brady has a decent game tonight.
It's so funny when you think about it that like quite literally Brock Purdy had the most Mickey Mouse 35-point fantasy outing I have ever seen in my life. Like yeah. It's so funny because my friend tweeted out when it was a close game at halftime, 17-16, Seahawks were up, 49ers driving back in the field first possession of the second half. And I think it was, who was it that twisted, was it Tariq Woolen? No. Who was it that twisted Deebo Samuel's ankle? Jonathan Abram. That's who it was.
Yeah, of course.
Jonathan Abram grabs a hold of Deebo Samuel and just fucking twists on it.
Yeah, he rolled him.
And then ever after you watch that, you're like, okay, fuck, this team's going to come out motivated. And I mean, realistically, if you're dealing with a team like San Francisco, like Seattle just completely collapsed. Like that Deebo, and my friend tweeted, like I mentioned, he said 70-yard, I think what was the route he said? 70-yard drag to Deebo to the house like soon. And there was a 74-yarder that ended up happening. It was basically a drag to the house. Just a little crosser, dump it off. Debo Samuel breaks like 3 tackles. It's like, man, like, give me a break. Like, I don't understand how Kyle Shanahan, irregardless of the quarterback he has in the game, can manufacture offense so easily. Like, I have never seen a team in my life that has so many wide open goddamn crossers than the fucking Niners, man. It makes no sense.
I mean, it helps having good athletes, obviously. It makes it easier for that, for sure.
Well, it's funny because like the 2 biggest quote unquote schematic advantages at some point this year, obviously the Dolphins when they're at their peak and now San Francisco, like they're all under the same tree and they all get open pretty much in the same way. Get a fast guy who can break tackles open in the fucking middle of the field and watch him work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost as if like maybe the Jets should have used Elijah Moore that way. I don't know. What's up, boys? What's going on, Cody? Cody, big W for your Giants, man. Good, great game for the Giants. Put the fraudulent ass Vikings in their place. I think in hindsight, we maybe should have been a little higher on the Giants in these best ball drafts, knowing that we were so low on the Vikings. I think that probably would have been a smarter bet to make. But to be fair, when we drafted these teams, we weren't certain because the Vikings actually held the 2 seed at the time.
We thought that the Vikings would play against the
Lions.
The Lions, yeah, and that's why we drafted a ton of Lions. So in theory, like because of the seeding issue, that was the biggest con in our process. Because if we had mapped it out and said, okay, listen, the Giants are going to play the Vikings, we would have drafted just as many Giants as we did fucking Lions.
Right, yeah, and the reason we didn't get a ton of Giants players is because at the time they were slated to play San Francisco.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, San Francisco, just really solid team. However, I do think the line is probably going to open up. I think if it's us, it's probably going to be about 5.5, 6, maybe 6.5. If it's you guys, it's probably going to be about 8.5, 9.
I don't think it'll be that much.
You don't think it's going to be that much for San Francisco based off the media hype on them right now?
For you guys, I think it'll be 3.5, 4. And then for us, I think it would be about a touchdown for us.
It's fair. It's really interesting because I feel like it's going to get bloated to a certain degree because, if we win, it's going to be, you know what, Dallas got their 1 win. You know, they're going to lose in the next round. Playoff chokers happened last year.
I will say that's what I'd be expecting.
Right? No, but what I'm saying is that, like, if we moved on and played San Francisco, that would be, like, the narrative pushed by the media. And if you guys advanced, I mean, we know what the narrative's going to be. Yeah, it's Tom Brady, but this is an 8-win team that lost to them 35-7 in the regular season. Like, either way you slice it, the media, the narrative is both going to favor the Niners. So even though the points might say one thing, I feel like it's going to be bloated toward the 49ers next week.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I think, rightfully so. They have one of the most
they're great.
They're talented offense in the league. I do think, Cody, your Giants probably match up pretty well with the Eagles, to be honest, because, lately the Eagles haven't been as explosive, and that would be the way that they would beat a team like the Giants, I think, is just hanging points on them like crazy. And I believe they did drop numbers on them one game, one of the games that they played this year. But if the Giants can keep it close, they've shown a good job of playing in close games. And Daniel Jones played really, really well against the Vikings. I think that was the best game of his career.
Yeah, no, but he was actually really good. Yes, sir. Football is today. Let's fucking go. Big one tonight,
gents. Yes, sir. Go Bucs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No. There you go. Go Cowboys. Let's go.
Okay, so I ended up placing a bet. I went Buccaneers money line, Chris Godwin anytime. Touchdown score, and then Leonard Fournette over 38.5 rushing yards. If you guys recall, this seems like it was 7 years ago, but Leonard Fournette actually decimated the Cowboys on the ground last time they played. When me and Danny were at the game, Fournette, it was 7, 6, 5 yards.
I think he averaged like 5.7 a carry that night.
That might have been the best game I've ever seen Leonard Fournette play, legitimately. And that includes like the playoff run games that he played really well against like the Packers and stuff. He played so well in that game. I'm really shocked how well he played. So hopefully maybe it's just something the Cowboys do that he can, get going. But 38.5 for the starting running back seems like pretty low rushing yards total to me.
I also got Rachaad White under 54.5 total yards. That just kind of seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, so in the video I dropped earlier today, if you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you check it out either before the game, after the game, halftime, whatever the case is. I basically broke down all the rookie seasons of all the major quarterbacks and running backs, and Rachaad White is a really interesting case study because the guy's valued at RB20 in keep trade cut value right now, which is not cheap. Like he's not, that's borderline first round capital that you need to spend to acquire a guy like Rachaad White. Obviously, if you could get first round capital, I'm easily selling him. But the guy just has not been good as far as like a rushing, a running back is concerned. And that was my problem with him coming out of Arizona State. It's clear to me that, he's a very much a plus receiver at the NFL level. And maybe that evolves to him turning into like a DeAndre Swift caliber, like fantasy asset. But at the same time, if he's I doubt that, Jason Light would go into an offseason with Rachaad White as his main running back and really nobody else. I don't think Jason Light operates like that to begin with. I think my boy Zach Charbonnet.
I was just about to say, little Sharp. You know what? If I could just say the nickname Shad and Sharp next year, that would be pretty fucking dangerous.
Yeah,
just
like
think about
you get
that.
yourself a banger running back that's a good pro style runner. Another guy in this class. I mean, Blake Corum would have also made a lot of sense if he didn't go back to school.
Go Blue, baby.
Good runner of the football. I think there's a couple guys. Tank Bigsby's a good runner as well. More so than like a receiver. Dwayne McBride also, even like late round draft capital. You draft him like the 5th round. Dwayne McBride can carry the rock like no problem. I think there's a bunch of guys in this class that are good ball carriers that would complement Rachaad White really well. And that could mean, Rachaad White turns into like, 15 to 20 touch, mostly receiving work type of, high end RB2 or something like that. But to me, I think it's at least from a value perspective, there's a lot of, outs variables as far as from losing value.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Also, quick note, Pierre LeBrun, right? Like the hockey analyst.
Yep.
So he's at the game. He's got his 4 on him. He's ready to go. Let's go. If you guys are Canadian and all, you'll know who this is.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Mr. LeBrun. Okay, let's get through some comments.
Interested to hear your bets. So like I said, Buccaneers money line, Godwin anytime, and then Leonard Fournette over 38.5. That was $40 that I put down on it to pay $264. So not a bad payout if that hits. I don't think that should be crazy odds. Like the Bucs are, plus 124 on the money line. Chris Godwin was plus 260 to score a touchdown. I was like, that seems a little odd to me. I don't expect a ton of points in this game, but I think they're probably going to try and limit Mike Evans in the red zone, considering he scored a touchdown on them last time they played each other, and that's just generally what teams do.
What a nuts fucking catch that was. I mean, we were on that side of the end zone. We were on that end zone side. It happened on the across the field from us. And I mean, we're just watching the play, and you'll get people that like, oh, Trayvon Diggs cooked. But like you watch that play from like the angle on the field, and you
not
just
much he could have done there.
The placement from fucking Brady, and then how high, how vertical Mike got on that. Like, there's not a fucking DB in the world, unless you're maybe like Tariq Woolen because you're 6'5", that could even get a finger on that. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great matchup that I love. Tariq Woolen on Tom Brady.
God,
hilarious. That might have been the funniest thing I've ever seen in a football game. I'm not even kidding.
Did you guys have him out wide?
Yeah, they ran him on like a wheel route almost, and Fournette Clay.
Oh, he threw the pick. I remember we were watching
it to Brady, and Woolen was in coverage. Like that was like the dumbest 50-50 ball decision I've ever seen. Let's get a Cowboy Nation. Yeah, Corey's up in the chat here. Yeah, so I mean, my gauntlet teams aren't looking great right now, unfortunately, because like I said, I had a lot of Tua, I had a lot of Lamar, I had a lot of Jalen Waddle, had a lot of Mixon as well. Didn't have a great game. Like not a great situation.
Let's add a caveat to that, because I really, really feel like the early drafters got inhibited like pretty much like tremendously compared to the rest of the field. Because again, we went into the knowledge that Tua was playing, Lamar was playing, the Lions might make the playoffs, and I get it. Like you're playing
exactly, and that's
you're
why
playing amongst the field.
Decide: do I draft early to get the advantage at ADP, or do I draft later to get the guaranteed? I know where the seeds are, and I can map up the playoff picture or whatever. I mean, sometimes it works out for you, and sometimes you get some unique builds as a result. If Ontario had, underdog all the time, I would have drafted some teams early and then some teams later, not all of them early like we did, but obviously we had to travel to do it. So, any pick 'em plays tonight? Let me take a look. I think we talked about this on the live stream, but whatever Fournette's rushing total is, I probably like the over because I took the,
it's 38.5.
38.5. It's exactly what it is on FanDuel. So I like Fournette's higher on his rushing yards. Danny mentioned you like the lower on Rachaad White's total yards, 54.5. He doesn't get a ton of, looks overall. I think he's probably only going to get like 10 to 15 touches. And I mean, he probably has to break off a long one given that he's not, averaging a high number of yards per carry. He probably has to break off like a 25-yard screen pass or something to hit that. So I don't mind that one as well. I also like Godwin's fantasy points too. 12.05 fantasy points is pretty solid for him, considering, he's a high reception yardage type of guy. And if he gets into the end zone, obviously he'll probably hit that. No problem. I like Succop's field goals as well. 1.5 field goals made. I really like that one.
I actually gave Spicy a couple lines I liked. Oddly enough, Succop 1.5 field goals was one of them. I had Mike Evans under 11.7 half PPR points, 11.75. Gallup under 37.5 receiving yards, and then Pollard over 22.5 receiving yards.
I think I also like Dak Prescott lower 1.5 passing touchdowns just because of how much they've run in the red zone. I think for him to have multiple passing touchdowns, I think he'd probably have to throw some longer ones. Pretty much anytime they get down there lately, at least they've been, really focusing on getting Pollard and Zeke in the end zone.
And that's why it's so funny to me, because it's like you'll have people, like not look at EPA, just look up, touchdown and interception ratio. And like you'll get a casual fan that'll look at Dak and be like, ooh, 23-15, yuck. Like I'll take Jared Goff over him.
To be fair.
Which it's pretty bad, but when you contextualize it, and again, like I don't have to go into the aspect of how many interceptions were off of guys' hands.
You're doing the Jameis Winston thing I did in 2019.
It's not Jameis Winston, but you know what I'm saying. Like Dak is much better than Winston.
There's 14 picks that Jameis Winston weren't his fault. Like I'm not even kidding. There's 14 that year.
But you get that one side, right, where like a lot of the interceptions he threw wasn't as bad. And then on the flip side, the touchdowns that like Mahomes and Allen get in the red zone, the Cowboys are just fucking running the ball. Ezekiel Howard had like 13 rushing touchdowns this year. And he played like 14 games? So like you wonder why the guy's touchdown to interception ratio isn't fine. Well, if he's throwing unlucky picks and he's not throwing the ball in the end zone like, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, like he's going to get, 5 touchdowns taken off the board like that.
Yeah. I think that's another sneaky thing in terms of like fantasy quarterback stuff is when you have like a high-end running back that's going to run in a lot of touchdowns. Like, I think Justin Herbert's a perfect example of it too this year. Versus a guy like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes where they're running like a committee approach. It's a good offense, but there's no real like certified dude there at the running back position. I think you can get yourself into like some good situations, obviously. And that might be something that we take away from like a guy like Trey Lance next year if he's the starting quarterback, is if McCaffrey's there and Mitchell is there, like is that going to eat into Trey Lance's kind of like rushing touchdown output?
And on the flip side, I think already people know about this, but you absolutely have to factor it in your running back situations too. Like, obviously, a guy like Eckler, like Herbert's not mobile, right? So like he's semi-mobile, I guess, but like, what does he average? Like 15 rush yards a game this year?
Yeah, he's not a guy who's gonna run up the totals for sure.
Like you're not worried about Eckler getting touchdowns stolen from him compared to like if you have Devin Singletary and Josh Allen's a 250-pound bowling ball. So I do think like it's a little bit of yin and yang next year where we're talking about, on one hand, maybe McCaffrey steals Lance touchdowns, but at the same time, I mean, Lance is still a mobile 250-pound rusher. So
they cannibalize each other, obviously. There's only so many rushing touchdowns that are probably going to go around in most offenses unless you're just like some great unit. But I think another guy that like kind of benefited from him this year was like Tua, for example. When Tua was playing, they don't have like that guy at running back that's going to really... Same goes for like Jalen Hurts, for example, which is why he ran in so many himself and had so many passing touchdowns in the red zone. If they draft a guy like Bijan Robinson or something, then, that's obviously going to change the dynamic of what they want to do in the red zone. Because I'm sure they don't want Jalen Hurts rushing in touchdowns if they have a dude like that.
100%. Brady has won every Super Bowl every year since 2014. Oh, every other year since 2014. So, okay. I mean, that's just some fun. I think
we might have won the Super Bowl again last year if we had beaten the Rams, legitimately.
You guys should have won the Super Bowl last year, if I'm going to be frank. You guys' roster was insane.
See, the tough thing is that the second Wirfs and Godwin go down, if they're playing in that Rams game, we win that game. No problem.
100%. I forgot they got hurt. That's
we got banged up at the wrong time, which is like the inverse of what happened in 2020. In 2020, we were healthy going into the playoffs. It was just Vita Vea that was injured and Alex Kappa, and Aaron Stinney had played well at right guard, so we were able to just slide him in. And then Vita Vea came back in the NFC Championship, so we were there was no real issues here, which is why I kind of do like where we're at, health wise right now, because Jensen's coming back. As far as like, I'd have to look at the inactives right now, but I don't think we have a ton of.
It's just not the same pass rush. It's not the same interior line.
No, we have Barrett. Barrett's out for the year, so
the Achilles, right?
Yeah, he tore his Achilles, and we paid him a big. Good for him getting a big contract before you tear your Achilles, but it's kind of going to screw us over a little bit. We're probably going to end up drafting defense this year in the draft, and it's probably
edge,
edge or corner, I would imagine, or the two because we have Dean and Bunting as free agents this year, so. I want to keep Dean personally. I think Dean's a great fucking corner. He's an awesome tackler too.
I think there's only 4 possible scenarios for the Cowboys round 1 next year. And I know that's saying like a lot, I guess, but I mean the first 2, like point blank clearly, if your top receiver, your top cornerback on the board, either of them, you take them.
I think corner would be your biggest need if I had to label one.
I would take either, is what I'm saying. Like, because
yeah.
The only thing is, like, again, if you're drafting a receiver that's maybe like, a 4-6 guy, like, no.
We're in the wrong spot, by the way. I just noticed this.
I just noticed that too. Like, if you're getting like a 4-4 plus receiver, like, I'm happy with it. Like 4-4-5 plus, because you need speed on this offense. That's why I said what's receiver is such a big need right now with Gallup struggling to come back. Right. Cornerback would be the other one. Obviously, there's a top 5 this year that I would be, more than comfortable with. The other like need I would say is if a baller 3 tech somehow fell, like, I get it. Jalen Carter's obviously not falling. Brian Brzez's probably not falling either. But if there's like one other, baller 3 tech that emerges, I wouldn't mind getting like a nice little interior pass rusher. And then the fourth one, I mean, if Bijan Robinson falls, like, obviously you're faced with that decision point too. So those would be like the 4 options. I don't see them like, going off the board and taking a linebacker or something like that. Like, I've seen some mocks with them taking linebackers. I don't see that at all.
I feel like you guys take a fucking linebacker every single week, every single year in the draft.
We usually take them in the mid rounds, though. We take them like rounds like 2 to 5 usually.
Yeah. So in terms of health wise, it looks like inactives. I'm just looking at like who's playing and who's not. Vea is playing, which is huge, obviously, because I think if we can stop your run game and we can limit CeeDee Lamb, I don't think there's really any way that your offense gets going.
Fun fact, I'll mention that, you guys are actually the 3rd worst team in EPA out of the slot receiver this year, like since week 1.
Too bad you don't have a good one.
I mean, that's where CD plays recently.
Yeah, again, that's a little skewed just because we've had so many injuries at that position.
Fair.
Because Winfield missed a bunch of games, and we've had to rotate in guys, and they haven't been as good as Winfield, obviously, and we've moved I don't even remember his name. McCollum into the slot when we need to, which is I think that's
Winfield
a healthy Buccaneers defense, secondary especially, is going to be a problem for your receivers, 100%.
Potentially, I would say more so on the outside. Are you guys going to play a lot of 3 or a lot of 2 today? Because if you guys are playing 2, you're going to need Winfield to play safety. No,
three corners. You mean
like a cover 3 or cover 2?
Yeah, but when we go 3, when we play 3 DB or 3 corners, Winfield plays slot, and they bring Logan Ryan in to play free or
and
strong, Edwards plays free, and Logan Ryan plays strong.
If you guys are trying to run a lot of 3 against CD, like CD eats 3 for breakfast.
I don't know. I think that is the crucial matchup of the game, though, to be honest, because
100%.
If Lamb has a big game, then that's going to obviously keep the offense on schedule. But if Lamb can't get going, I don't see like the rest of your receivers are like one of the worst. Like if you took CeeDee Lamb out of
it's a bad receiving core. I mean, I just mentioned wide receivers probably one of my 2 favorite needs to get in the draft this year. Like, it's a bad receiving core. The only other option if they don't draft receiver in the first round, by the way, is I wouldn't mind if, I think he's going to ask for too much money, so I wouldn't be, all in on it. But if he wants a reasonable contract, I wouldn't mind like a guy like DJ Chark. I think that'd be
somebody like that would be an okay addition to the team. You also got to keep in mind that Gallup will probably be a lot healthier next year too, so he's probably not a big concern as far as like, he's not going to like lose his job or anything. I think if you guys like a receiver that I think would be really fun on your team actually would be Downs, because Downs could play the slot.
I love Downs.
Downs could play the slot if you get him in. Let's say he slides to the mid-second round or something like that, and you get Lamb, a healthy Gallup, and then Downs in the slot. That would be probably pretty fun.
Yeah. No, Downs I would love. It's funny because I talked about, trading for like a Judy, trading for like Elijah Moore, like at the deadline. And I mean, if you get Downs, you're basically just having him play that role for you, right? So,
Elijah Moore could still be on the trading block too.
I'd be totally down to make that move. They're asking for a 2. I would send that yesterday.
Oh yeah, I absolutely would too. So inactives, Nick Leverett's inactive, which is big because he's our starting left guard right now. So that probably means that Hainsey's playing left guard, who's been I thought all year.
Hainsey was DNP all week. No, is he playing?
He's not inactive, so I'm assuming he's
okay.
So he's going to play, I would assume.
Because me being the snoop I am, I looked at your guys and my guys' injury reports just to see how their practice schedule were, and I'm pretty sure Hainsey didn't practice all week. So like the fact that he's active is pretty big.
Keanu Neal, thank God that guy's inactive.
That guy sucks.
He's so bad.
You're getting that experience this year? Oh, God.
You know who I miss, man? As like a reserve safety? Andrew Adams. We had him for so long, and he like anytime he came off the bench, he was just like fine.
Did he used to play for the? Did he used to play for the Giants, or am I tripping?
I think he used to be just a good like reserve safety that was always like fine if we needed him. Same with Ross Cockrell or whatever in the slot. He was fine like anytime.
Former Steeler.
Bunting. Well, yeah, Bunting was out for a while in the year that we won the Super Bowl and last year too, and Cockrell was pretty good in his relief.
Bunting, didn't he fucking pop his shoulder in week 1 against us last year?
Yeah.
I remember watching that game.
He was out for a while.
Yeah, fuck it.
And he was really bad last year too. He was really good in 2020, and he was horrible last year, and he's been really good this year. The annoying thing about him is he's like by far is the best ball skills on our defense.
Don't kill me.
Him and Mike Edwards' ball skills are like rival our receivers. Like they're unbelievable at getting their hands on the ball because Dean and Davis are very good coverage guys, but they're not good at getting their hands on the ball.
Sorry, I just got to point this out, bro. No matter what the Cowboys do today, nothing will top the Chargers charging on Saturday. 27-0.
Oh, dude. Oh my God, that was so bad.
I think it was Theo that tweeted this out. You know how many rushing yards they had once they went up 27-0? Rushing yards after going up 27-0 when you're supposed to run the ball. You know how many yards they had rushing?
Yeah, the Bucky Brooks like trope where you're like, oh, teams that like run the ball like this many times or whatever.
You know how many rushing yards they had though?
Probably not a lot.
Guess.
15.
-3.
Oof.
How do you have -3 rushing yards once you go up 27-0 in a game? That is fucked.
This might age like milk and heat, this take, but it's almost as if the best pure rushing back on their team probably should have been playing this whole year.
Yeah, facts.
I still think Spiller can play, man. I know he didn't get like any run this year and he wasn't very good when he did, but I still think the dude can play.
Potentially. Big game tonight, fellas. Good luck to both your squads. Brady is scary this time of the year. That is literally the only.
That's like the one thing that I like can hang my hat on is like we had Tom Brady. Like we can win the game.
Like if you guys had Brock Purdy, I'm fucking not stressing right now.
Yeah.
Let's be real. What is up, boys? Stroud declared. Yeah, that is huge. Tony Pollard finna eat tonight.
Him and Lamb are like, I mean, they're the best 2 players on your offense. So
by far,
like they're the keys to the game. But I think Pollard especially because I do think Lamb will struggle. If Pollard also struggles, then I don't see you guys scoring more than like 14 points.
Yeah, maybe. Fuck no. I just
yeah. So declarations. I'm glad you brought this up. CJ Stroud declared. Jordan Addison declared. Both Quentin Johnston and Kendre Miller declared as well. So I think that was everybody we were waiting on, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think we have, and other than Blake Corum, nobody went back to school because Boutte came back into the draft pool. So,
yeah, nobody went back to school. Sharps was scheduled, but like he had officially declared today. But like up until today, he hadn't declared. So,
yeah, I mean, he was a senior and he already talked about declaring in December. So I just kind of assumed he was going to declare. But yeah, it should be. I mean, like, there's no real weaknesses now in the class because all these guys declared. I think the class would have been a little bit better if Corum had declared, obviously, especially because that like second and third tier running back gets like another borderline 1-2 turn type of caliber prospect, assuming he's healthy. So that hurts a little bit because I if you gave me a choice, I'd rather have Boutte go back to school and Corum come out, but. Yeah, for the most part, I'd say, good news all around that Addison and QJ and all these guys came out because that could have been really bad if QJ and Addison and Stroud went back to school.
For sure. Brock saying that like the no guy to get
my guy, you're getting Will Levis, like it's gonna happen.
No, it's gonna be so fucked up, and I feel so bad for Brock, right? Listen, this is what's gonna happen. Okay, the Colts are gonna trade up to 1. They're gonna give up number 4 overall. Their 2024 first round pick and their 3rd round pick this year, like to trade up.
It costs that much to go up 3 spots.
With the quarterback equity at the top of the draft. With the quarterback equity at the top of the draft, teams are going to ask for a boatload. It's going to be fucked,
fair,
right? So you're going to pay that, and then Brock's going to be like, "Let's fucking go." You know what? We got Bryce Young, baby. He's got the fucking edit. It's on the fucking Twitter, and then you're going to watch the draft, and you're just going to see. With the 1st overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky Wildcats. And then you're going to have fucking the Mel and fucking Todd talking about, this is a guy with traits right here. He's got an A+ arm. He's an A+ pocket presence. He played in the SEC. This is a battle-tested quarterback.
Yeah, no, you know what Mel's classic trope is? What did I tell you, Todd? He always says that when something he predicted goes right. He goes, Todd, what was I telling you this entire draft cycle? These teams like Will Levis at 1 overall. Todd. Yeah, no, he's definitely going to do that. Anyway, I mean,
I'm so sorry, Brock.
So you want Stroud? If I were you, I would want Young personally.
I think he's just hyping up Stroud right now. He told me.
I mean, you could
Young
stay
better.
at 4 presumably and get Stroud. That's probably why.
That's why he said it. Theoretically, like I think he's just happy with Stroud or Young or
I personally want Young. He's fine.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
That you very much could be correct about this, Figs.
Yes, he played well, but it's still fucking a rookie 7th round pick in the playoffs in the divisional round.
If you tell me that if we make the next round and you tell me that Brock Purdy dices us up again, with a healthy that game might have been the most unhealthy our defense has been all year. So as far as like what they did, like we obviously did nothing against their defense. So I'm not going to make excuses for the Bucs offense, but we did nothing against Brock Purdy had no resistance in that game. Our defense was so banged up. He was throwing a wide open dudes.
I think against you guys, because you don't really have the pass rush, I think they should be okay. But like the thing is, like Niners fans are just like, oh, I want Dallas. It's like a lot of hatred, a lot of blood here. Like I've seen like Crocker and shit tweet that. And it's just like, do you really want Brock Purdy to face a team that when they are on their A game are quite literally the best pass rushing in the NFL against a rookie 7th round pick cornerback?
Oh, look at Fletsky doing the fucking
My bad. Appreciate you, Fletsky. Let's go.
Oh,
Hey, what's up? Dude, if you ever want the fucking link, just ask. Fuck.
I still love that Fletsky's got the Cam Newton and the Patriots PFP. It fucking kills me every time.
Don't kill me, yeah. No, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the 50. Means a lot, brother. But also, congrats, Mr. Fletsky with the big FSC Patreon redraft championship. Me and Bush fucking talking shit about his quote-unquote Mickey Mouse team all year, and then he goes out and wins.
Flett was literally the Minnesota Vikings of this league. Like, kept winning close games. Every good team that played him had a down week.
Tested.
And then we were like, yeah, he's going to get bounced in the first round, and then he ended up winning the champion. It would be like if the Vikings just won the Super Bowl this year. That's exactly what happened in our league.
Yeah, don't go away. Just noticed that, but now I can't change it. Oh, it's YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. Bold prediction: brother. If the Cowboys don't grab an early lead, they will lose.
I don't know, man. I mean, you still got Dak Prescott in a 2-minute drill if you need it. Like,
yeah, I mean, you say that like it wasn't the most mid statement of all time.
Come on, Dak is good at end of game drives.
I'm just fucking with you, but I mean, I haven't seen a ton of game-winning drives this year specifically.
No, not this year. I mean, we haven't really needed to for the most part.
I also, for what it's worth, haven't seen any in the playoffs either.
He almost did against Green Bay, and he would have if Green Bay didn't.
How many playoff wins has he have in his career? Really, I know they're not like a QB stat, but like.
So he's 1-3 right now.
So Daniel Jones has as many playoff wins as him?
Correct, but let me contextualize it, right? His first playoff loss 2016. They were the 1 seed hosting the Green Bay Packers.
Hilarious.
They went down, I believe it was 28-10 in that game. 28-10 they went down. Dak led them back, ended up tying the game 31-31 with like 25 seconds left. That's when Rodgers makes that sideline dime to Jared Cook. Game-winning field goal from fucking Mason Crossbar, 34-31. The Packers go on the next week, get shellacked by the Falcons, right? 2018, we beat Seattle, so that was his playoff win. 3rd and 14.
That team sucked for what it's worth. That counts as much as you guys beating us this week. Like they weren't.
No, they were like an 11-win team that year.
No, they weren't.
Pretty sure they were.
You guys were the 4 seed and they were the 5 seed, or
yeah.
We were how it works or whatever. But
we were 10-6, and I think they were 10.
They were a wild card team. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 5 seed. So they were still a good team.
I think that I remember that year, and I don't remember them being all that good. It was like Chris Carson had a great year, so they were like a good, running offense and stuff. But that was like all that they had.
So basically in that game, right? Dak 3rd and 14, I believe, at the 20-yard line. No, it was at like the 15-yard line. It was 3rd and 14, right? He takes off on a quarterback draw, dives over the top, gets flipped, and converts the first down. We ended up winning that game. The next week, we go ahead to Los Angeles to play the Rams, the year that they made the Super Bowl. And that was when CJ Anderson and Todd Gurley combined for like 350 rushing yards. And
I remember that.
Dallas had a chance to win the game at the end. It was 3rd and 7 with 2 minutes left. And Jared Goff rolls out and fucking picks up a first down on a bootleg on 3rd and 7 with no timeouts left. So that chalks it there. Now you got what, 1 and 2 there? Yeah. My math was wrong for a second. Yeah. And then obviously last year against the San Francisco 49ers, we're on 4th down. You had Cedric Wilson not come back to the football on a potential game clinching type of play. So, I mean, you've had chances in all those losses. So now maybe I'm coping because it still sucks that you lost those games. But I mean, looking back, there's so many winnable opportunities there.
Yeah. I like this this scenario that Kev tweets out. He says basically Bucs lose the game. Brady goes on to Las Vegas, and Jameis comes back to Tampa Bay. I'd be fully down for a Jameis reunion, honestly. So as mad as I was at the time about the crutches dance in the Saints locker room, I still think it's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Because they beat us, so he does that dance when he's on the crutches or whatever. But it's the funniest video I've ever seen Jameis Winston do. But I would love to actually see if we don't have Tom Brady, I think the type of QB Jameis is would either be, lead you to Caleb Williams or at least make it a fun season with some passing production too. So I don't know. I hope Byron Leftwich gets fucking fired though. I really don't want to have to deal with that dude one more season. Can we get Todd Monken back? Like, how much is Georgia paying the dude?
Jesus. Our Gravy says the Cowboys will find a way to lose. Maybe. Sleeper uploading rookies in their systems. But yeah,
great news. So that means we can do rookie drafts with you guys then.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Got Brady over 42.5. CD anytime. Schultz anytime. I don't mind that.
That's the over under on his pass attempts. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
No, I'd probably take the lower on any quarterback if you're telling me they need to throw over 40 times.
I mean, theoretically, that's like the 50th percentile range of outcome is if the Cowboys start off early because they're the better team, right? Like that would be the average range.
I honestly think we're getting a fucking drizzler tonight, man. I think we're getting like a 3-3 game at half. Maybe.
Though I just want to see Dak bury any narrative against him, so I'm hoping it's higher scoring. If I'm going down, I at least want my Dak narrative to live.
Yeah, I don't love both Cowboys pass catchers catching touchdowns, just given that they run the ball so much in the red zone. I think that's a little bit shaky,
that's fair.
But that could still happen.
Kendra Moe to the Bucs. That makes sense. Zeke to score a rushing touchdown. That's probably a lock.
I think he's favored. Yeah, he's favored. I don't even think he's.
I think he's like minus 200. No.
Yeah, he's gonna score a rushing touchdown.
One gauntlet team I did with y'all is in first, but you have Dak, CD, Schultz, Zeke left down 73.
Which one of us has Dak, CD, Schultz, Zeke?
It might be with Spicy. Yeah, it definitely would have been with Spicy.
Maybe, yeah.
Brady dropping 40. He could. That's my boy Steve. Big shout out there. We were watching some of the Sunday games yesterday, taking it easy, 1.5 is solid. Yeah, I agree with that. Can't roll out the goat in the playoffs. No way you guys. We are Canadian there, Brendan. Are you Canadian as well? I hail from the great city of Hamilton. Mr. KW over on my right in this call. So, yeah.
Yeah. About to take out the divorce anger on America's team. Yes, absolutely. Dude, wouldn't it be just elite if Brady went full assassin mode in the playoffs? And the thing I like when I listen to Let's Go or whatever, the podcast that he does, he literally said I mean, it's so true, and it's like a Brady trope because he answers every question like a politician. He's like, nobody has it's 0-0 record. Everybody's got a 0-0 record. But I think he's fucking just relieved to be able to say that it doesn't matter what we did in the regular season. We get one playoff home game, and then we're gonna be playing on the road the rest of the playoffs. And we did a good job of it in 2020. We beat the Packers on the road. In that game, obviously we played the Super Bowl at home, but.
I'm sorry, but did you hear about how much of a cuck your fucking franchise is for making the Cowboys wear their blue jerseys just for no reason?
Yeah,
you guys wear dark at home, right? Usually,
it depends because when it's really hot out, they make the away team wear dark.
Yeah, you guys are wearing white today, and you're making the Dallas wear their navy. And if you're not familiar, Dallas historically hasn't played well in their navy, so.
Sure, that's got to be the difference. On the talk shows, Skip and Shannon will be talking about it because the Cowboys are wearing navy. I also want to. You can count on it that if the Cowboys lose tonight, I am tweeting the video of Skip where he's where he's crying.
Yeah,
the video I'm talking about was that after the 49ers game last year?
Probably, dude. Don't even get me started with that game. We still should have.
Watching Skip lose is my favorite part of the Cowboys losing.
Dude, okay, can I just rant one thing? That's what pisses me off. You have fucking Niners fans be like, we want the soft-ass Cowboys. We just ran the ball on them all last year.
You can't complain about this, though. You cheer for the most popular franchise in all of sports.
And I know you're gonna be like, okay, Danny, bring the what ifs, whatever. Like, is everybody misremembering what happened in last year's game where the Cowboys had fucking 14 penalties, couldn't block 4 up front,
but like that's
game,
why you guys choke because you're undisciplined.
Went down double digits early in the game and then lost 23-17 because Cedric Wilson couldn't come down with the 4th down conversion.
Yeah. Like, do you remember
that? And
go ahead. Do you remember on our playoff bracket show that I told you that the Niners would beat you because you're undisciplined?
It's just.
And yes, we do get games on DAZN. That is the only way to get them in Canada here, unless we do some illegal streams. Go Cowboys. Dak dropping 40. Don't see it happening.
Sir. Let's go.
But to take out. Yeah, I think if Brady, I actually personally think he'll be back with the Bucs. Scott Reynolds, a Pewter Report, has it on good authority that he would probably return to the Bucs. So I know everybody just assumes that he's going to leave. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to, Las Vegas. He's going to San Francisco. He's going to Miami. He's going to New Orleans with Sean Payton. I've seen. Also, I'd fucking throw up if that happened. I actually think that it's more likely that if Brady wants to play again, Byron Leftwich is fired, and they bring in like Bill O'Brien or something to do the offense with Brady. That's what I think would personally happen. I don't know if that would be 100% likely, but I actually don't think he would go anywhere if he wanted to keep playing.
Yeah. You guys win the Super Bowl last year. I actually agree. I thought you guys were by far the best team in the NFC.
You said it when I did. Yeah, I think Wirfs was a huge problem in that game, as was Godwin, by the way, because we could have kept pace with the offense a lot, or with the Rams in that game a lot easier.
Game's on, bro.
Yeah, I know. We're throwing a little bit.
How is this? What?
Fuck. Anyways, I'm going to scan the comments real quick and see if there's anything interesting that I like. Otherwise, we are going to hop off here and watch the game.
I thought it was 8. I thought it was 8:08. 3rd and 10 already. That's not great.
Dak is like a pair of fake Dior Jordan 1 mids. I love that. Let's go Bucs. You love to see it. Jake Ferguson over 2.5 receiving yards. Kind of like that.
Already a TY drop on 3rd down. Awesome.
Rubber Bandit. Yes, sir. Does look pretty good in the first round of the rookie mocks. If Anthony Richardson goes top 12, you taking him over Gibbs, JSN, Addison, and rookie drafts? Absolutely, I am.
Yeah.
If A-Rich goes that high, I'm taking him high. Okay, so nothing to. It's a Bucs life. Go fire the cannons. Yes, sir. Dang. Okay, so last thing I'll say is if the Cowboys lose tonight, is Mike McCarthy fired?
They should be. Side note, so 3 and out, 3 drops on a single fucking 3 and out.
Oh, the excuses are starting already.
Awesome.
The excuses are already out.
Wait. Hear me out. Exactly what you need. Your quarterback has been struggling with the chemistry with the receivers and getting consistent completions all fucking year. And you want to start off the playoff game with 3 fucking drops? Are we serious? Nice urgency. That's awesome. That's the exact start I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Don't kill me. Either way, take it easy, y'all. 42 minutes in. We're going to go watch the game.
Yeah. All right.